Thanks for locking in with 77 Flavors of Chicago. We're your host, Dario.
And I'm Sarah, and I hope you're ready to learn with us.
Yeah, buddy. Today we're talking about a building, a New York building.
Yeah.
Yeah. The New York Life building. Mm-hmm. Y'all probably wondering how and why are y'all talking about that, but we'll get to it.
Wait.
What's going on with you? What's going on with y'all? How y'all doing? That's good.
That's amazing.
Good. We
Unless
love
you
it.
Something bad, then I'm so sorry.
It went off on a tangent last week.
This week.
But how's it going? How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, now tell the people the truth, y'all. Okay. Sarah is.
I am down bad.
Yes.
Being honest.
Down bad is an understatement.
I'm down bad. I don't know how. Let me tell you, women have the ability to absorb so much pain because some of us monthly go through a lot of pain. But I bought a leash that is 100 feet, not a retractable leash. It's like a rope leash that's 100 feet for Campbell to be able to run around in a park where I could still like be able to make sure he doesn't run outside of the park, which he wouldn't. But, you know, I just wanted to, for my sanity. And we were at the park and he was running around and I wasn't paying attention to where it was on the ground and it wrapped around my ankle.
Scraped your shit up.
That's a very like... mild way of saying it. I don't want to go into graphic details because it was extremely painful, but I am still suffering from the consequences of that. I can really barely walk. I can only stand on it for a little bit because it just swells.
Yeah.
And it's been hot, which makes it worse. It's very painful. It like stretched the skin so that like every time I pull it's at my ankle. So like
right around Achilles,
so much
y'all.
Movement in my ankle. You know what I mean? And so like I need to just sit and have it raised for very long periods of time.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard Campbell. He heard you talking shit about him.
Yeah.
He's like, man.
It's not his fault. It's my fault. I wasn't paying attention. He didn't know that he was going to do that, but.
He said, that's what I thought.
So I'm not. He also has like 2 brain cells. So like he really
play
doesn't have
and sleep and eat.
And snack.
You know what I mean? Like,
so he doesn't have enough thought process to do that intentionally. I hope not, at least.
Wouldn't that be some shit?
That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
He wouldn't do it to me. I know that.
Damn, you looking at me like he'll get your ass.
No, I don't think so.
Campbell love us, man.
Yeah,
he love us a lot.
He's the sweetest dog.
He is. It's
so cute.
Yeah, that's been
How's
rough.
your week?
Honestly, needed a slight break in action. We had a little bit of downtime this week, and that was just enough for us, y'all.
It's enough for you to take like 2 naps a day.
Man, look, I needed them naps though. Like I really needed those.
You're like a napper.
I am. You know what I'm saying?
Like if you don't take your nap, you get grumpy.
Not grumpy, you know what I'm saying? But like I'm not me. You know, I need a Snickers. You know, Snickers
is a nap.
Yeah, right. I needed that, and but you know what? Honestly, it's good. You know what I mean? It was a great week. Has a little bit of time. You know what was fun is I don't know if y'all saw us on WGN, but
that was fun.
Yeah, shout out to WGN for having us on again. Yeah.
And if you're yeah.
That
was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. We actually really love going to WGN. We love any appearance that we get from media, but. I always say it's like the Madison Square Garden for me. And if y'all don't know that reference, it's a sports reference. Most athletes.
I think most people know what Madison Square Garden is.
No. Like the thought process behind why is it like you get up for it. You know what I mean? Like Michael Jordan, anytime he went, any athlete, you know, in any sport, you go to the Garden, you perform higher. You know what I'm saying? Like so that's I'm not saying I'm not giving my all anywhere else because this is what it sounds like. But I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, our dog is just going off. What is he playing with a toy in there?
It's almost time for his dinner, so he's
so he's pissed off.
Yeah.
He okay.
And he hasn't had a single snack today, so.
Well, you know, he'll be all right.
He'll be all right. But yeah, should I start with some This Week in Chicago history?
Hell yeah.
All right, cool. So June 24th, so if you're listening to this on Monday, that is today, 1922, the National Football League, which was known as the American Professional Football Association, changed its name to be the NFL.
Okay.
And the Chicago Staleys became the Chicago Bears.
That's crazy. That was today.
Today. The 24th of June.
Wow, okay. What's up? That's a good one.
Yeah. And then almost like, I don't know, what's 90 minus 20? 50 years later?
90 minus 20?
Yeah.
Oh, you doing?
Yeah,
Okay.
50 years later.
Gotcha. Yep.
The Chicago Cubs honored Harry Carey.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Wait, we honored Harry Carey.
Yeah, because he had just finished like 50 years of broadcasting, and
Okay. Yeah, I remember when he unfortunately passed away. Man, that was rough. We didn't know what to do. He was our like fearless voice leader.
Yeah, they had like a special day for him.
Yeah, I remember. I kind of remember that vaguely.
You were 10.
Yeah, I've been watching the Cubs for a long ass time.
Yeah. Yeah, but really cool. I didn't know the NFL was something else before it became the NFL.
Yeah. They have what am I trying to say here? So like some of the original teams, were part of like the Green Bay Packers. They played in them.
Boo.
And what the Packers and the Bears were in the same type of thing. But then the first NFL, the Super Bowl was with the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs were in the other league that wasn't the NFL. So that's why I know it was like they would call something else when NFL did their thing and then they merged and the first Super Bowl was performed.
Right.
Yeah. And that was a big deal because you had the two teams from different divisions. That's how they had the AFC and the NFC. That's how those things started. Yeah. Pretty fun.
Yeah, I'd say.
Hey, let's go. See, look at that's some good. That's some every week. There's something. It's crazy how much we can dig from Chicago history. I wonder
there's a lot. I mean, I'm just picking like a random
some
fact.
of the fun ones. Yeah.
Like, of course, there's a million things that have happened that I could have mentioned, but just picking some random ones.
Yeah.
And I just picked one random day. Like, I'm sure the 25th had something else.
Yeah, right. But that's okay. We don't care about the 25th. I should release on the 4th. Nah, I'm playing. Y'all. You want to talk about some else random shit?
Oh, you know what else happened on the 24th of June?
Talk to me.
The Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup.
Oh yeah. Wow. Is that which Stanley Cup?
2013.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, I got the hat, man. That was a woo.
I remember when they won that one, and the only reason I know that they won that one was because I was traveling through O'Hare, and I saw them put up the banners that say like Blackhawks, home of the champions, or something like that. Oh wow! In O'Hare, and I was like, "What is a Blackhawk?" Like I didn't know, I didn't know the name of the hockey team.
Damn.
I'd only been in the state of Illinois for a year.
You know the funny thing about like when the Blackhawks went on that run, that was like a mini dynasty run right there. So it was 2009 because I had never been to a hockey game, and I always wanted to like see a hockey game, and so and I've always watched the Blackhawks just in passing. They were never that good. They were like really rough. The 2009, I think they were at their peak, like about to be taken off the air. They were absolute trash. Tickets were a little cheaper. So I got an opportunity to go to a game. And it was like towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
And, it was my first hockey game. And I was like, I remember going and being like, man, look, this shit is so fun. You got to see it. You got to see it in person.
I don't know if I can watch them fight each other.
You could. It's way different because there's more action going on there. But anyway, the reason why I bring that up is my first ever hockey game was 2009. And when I tell you that next year I was locked in every single game, knew the players. I started learning the position and everything like that. And I was tuned in to hockey.
Love,
They won Stanley Cup that year.
That's awesome.
And so I felt like, yo, I'm a part of it. I jumped on before, you know what I mean? Like right before they got hot, So that's my little fun. And then the other two after that, man, it was like you couldn't stop the Blackhawks, man. We were just dominant. And here's one more thing. I know this is not a sports thing, but that year we had basically sold out just to win that championship because, again, the years before 2009, that season, they were talking about, hey, the Blackhawks, we're gonna do something. We can't keep putting these motherfuckers on TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they trash. So what the Blackhawks did was basically said, we going for broke and we gonna put it all on the line to win a chip. They did. They won the chip. The next year they had to get rid of a lot of players. I believe it was I think the dude's name was Nikolai Javibuin or something like that. He was a black guy. I think he was black or mixed or something like that. And he was like a star, a stud, and we had to get rid of him because we had no money to pay for these players the second year.
Damn.
You know what I mean? But
even though they won?
even though we spend all the money. We went for broke. I'm paraphrasing hell out of this, but somebody, if you listen, you like, yeah. And we went on like a 3-year drought. Team wasn't bad. The next year after that, they were pretty rough, but they still had pieces, and we were getting pieces back. And then we won again in 2013. We finally came back, and then in 2015 we won again.
I remember that one.
Yeah. So, pretty dope. Pretty fun history.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. But now, are you ready?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So New York Life Building.
New York Life Building, y'all. So leave it to us to find some random ass shit to talk about here on this podcast. And this is a significant one that I don't think a lot of people have heard.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go over it, man. The New York Life Building, if you don't know what that is in the financial district, 39 South LaSalle Street. So right at the corner of Monroe and LaSalle. And it was created by the architect, William LeBaron Jenney, which is really cool because he is considered the father of the skyscraper, right? He was at the forefront of all that stuff. He worked with all the big wigs back in there. Root, Burnham, all those people.
The big wigs.
Yeah. All the movers and shakers down there. He's also, you probably, if you listen to this podcast for a while now, you probably heard us talk about him in the West Side Park District. He was a big creator and architect of landscape over there. So you probably heard us talk about him. Now, he was the architect for the New York Life Building. And to give you some context about New York Life, they were an insurance company, and they had been here since before the Chicago fire, 1871. So they had been here before, and they were expanding, right? They expanded. They needed a bigger headquarters here in Chicago,
right? And
that's where they were building this building. And so right around 1893, not around, but 1893, 94 is when this building was put into motion, and it opened in 94. Now, the reason why this is significant is because this building pretty much changed the landscape of architecture. Look at it in the world. So this might be one of the most significant buildings in the world, especially here in Chicago. So to give you some context, what it is, when it was built, it was 12 stories on LaSalle, just kind of facing the LaSalle side of the street with the entrance over there. And then 1898, so 4 years later, they added a whole other building right on the Monroe side that was 13 stories, and they added the 13th floor to the original building. Yeah. And then 1903, they added 14th floor to the entire thing. The point of it is this building was one of the first buildings to have Chicago-style construction, and it's literally, quote-unquote, Chicago construction. And what that is, a steel frame skeleton building. So if you think about it, if you take the layers off of a building, you see the steel frame, how most buildings are built now. You peel back the layers, brick mainly, right. You'll see the insides of the building.
Correct.
This building was considered to be one of the first ones of that kind. Not only that, here's the crazy part. This building is considered to be the first in ever the world to have it where the brick is attached to the skeleton frame, like steel frame is, but it didn't attach at the bottom. So it wasn't load bearing. It was literally all the weight is on the steel frame, and the brick that's at the bottom doesn't attach at all.
What?
It attaches several feet up.
Wow.
Yeah. So and
that was like a revolutionary
because, like, think about it. A lot of people are like, how the hell do you build a building that's not brick loaded?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so that brick load bearing, right down the street. A little bit away, we got the Monadnock building. That is the world's largest load-bearing brick wall. Right. Brick building.
Another really cool building.
And then this one here is the exact opposite. And so this was revolutionary at the time. Yeah. Nobody seen anything like this. And the reason why, again, we'll get to more significance of this building, but, why not try a new building? So, like, the father of, the skyscraper is saying, hey, let's try something. Speaking of which, this is right down the street from where the Home Life Insurance building was, which is considered to be the first ever skyscraper, and that was in 1885 is when that one was built.
Right.
Literally like a block over, a block more
Not
south.
like barely.
Barely, right? Barely. So now you got that bit of history right there, right? And as we continue, hold on, what am I saying? The terracotta, terracotta.
Terracotta.
Sound like an actor. It's Terry Crews.
Sounds like a dessert.
Yeah, terracotta always sound like a dessert. Are y'all familiar with terracotta?
Sounds
Actually,
like panna cotta.
Yeah. Let's talk about dessert for a second because we had we had Hot Take Tuesday. It's just I feel like now that I mentioned that I don't like
ice cream.
Ice cream. Now everybody want to bring it up every week.
Every week.
You know, like
every week. And then I posted a story of you eating ice cream, and someone was like, "Is that ice cream in that plate?"
Because y'all misunderstood your boy. Y'all misunderstood your boy. I said it ain't no point now. And if I have a little bit, it ain't bad. It's just unnecessary.
You're like such a grumpy old man.
No, I'm not grumpy.
Yes, you are.
I'm not grumpy about it. You know, no, I'm not grumpy about this.
No, but like grumpy old men say things like ice cream is not necessary.
It's not necessary.
That's just joy.
Yeah, you can have joy somewhere else.
How?
Anything else. I mean, ice cream is just not it.
What are the things that bring you joy, you would say? Simple things, not like your camera or our podcast or something like that. Like, what are simple things that bring you joy?
I'm definitely about to go simple on you. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I absolutely
that brings you joy.
Brings me joy. Okay. So much joy, actually.
Okay.
so much joy. Like,
okay,
have you ever had a great, fresh, cold jelly with the with the
First of all, I don't like jelly.
You don't like jelly?
I like jam.
With jelly and jam,
jelly is
same
just
shit.
No, they're not.
I know that this the texture, the smoothness of it, and shit like that. But like,
I'm not trying to. Who you can't even spread jelly.
This is coming from you. You like crunchy peanut butter. What are you talking about?
Peanut butter. You can spread crunchy peanut butter.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
You gonna mess the bread up.
You gotta disperse the crunch.
For all the old people out here who don't like this cousin.
You have to disperse the crunch. Is all.
What the hell does that mean? You
disperse the crunch?
No, you're not supposed to be crunching a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the first place.
Why?
Cause
I like texture in my. No,
man.
I like different texture. I like a little crunch.
Get different bread then, because like the peanut butter is.
I also like my bread toasted.
Yeah, now that's a classic right there though. Everybody, if we had a toaster, I'd do that.
We have a toaster.
Then what is that?
We have a toaster oven.
No, that's too much.
Toaster.
I need something that I pop in, pop out. I don't need all that. I don't want to think when I'm doing this.
Ever or like?
Wow! Look, see now, see this.
Okay, what else brings you joy?
I really do like video games, Call of Duty. I'm really good at Call of Duty.
What else?
Damn, how much? I mean,
those are like you named two, so like that's not a lot.
All right, chicken nuggets.
That's ridiculous.
You said what brings me joy.
Yeah, but that's a ridiculous thing to bring you joy. Like eating an ice cream cone is like such a basic, everyone can agree is like a fun activity.
Yeah, but it's not
like
that
eating
fun.
an ice cream cone on a hot day.
Right.
Eating Italian ice on a hot day. It's like such a fun universal experience.
You said don't include my camera. That's like the main thing that I bring me joy. Besides you.
Wow.
Come on now. Hey, look, hold on.
No. That besides you came delayed.
Yeah, no.
You caught yourself as you were
I did not
saying
catch
it.
myself.
Your brain was like,
no.
Red flag, alert, alert.
No.
Anyway.
But you said, anyway, yeah, back to this. Terracotta. So terracotta. Here's why the terracotta came into play. So they basically, when they were making this building, and you were like, so how are we going to put bricks up here? And like, there are bricks there, right? There's brick that's attached to it, but they use the terracotta to like help basically attach that as skin, quote unquote. And the reason why they did this kind of started taking off. The thought process of this building was so ridiculous and like so dope to people that they started pitching in. By they, I mean, not only was William LeBaron Jenney and all his crew, but New York Life Company, they had expanded westward at that point. And they needed a president. They were trying to tell everybody in publication that, hey, look, we got this new revolutionary building coming up.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. And so then they started using a terracotta. Now, what that did was, again, it made it cheaper. It was faster. It took them 10 weeks.
Wow.
10 weeks back in 1893, 94. 10 weeks.
To do what?
Put the terracotta on the building.
Oh, wow.
And basically wrap the building. Like, that's
Shit,
insane.
that's faster than the construction happening on like 1994.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is crazy. So it made it. And
Wrap
made,
that shit in terracotta. Get it done and over with.
Right. Now, here's where something else that it did that is significant to the story is that it helped make it fireproof. So now you have, not only did we say that this was the first, building in the world to basically have a skeleton frame with the bricks not attaching at the bottom. This was one of the, not the, but one of the buildings that paved the way for fireproof and ability to make sure that you can sustain a fire in a skyscraper. And so that was
12 floors when it was built, right?
When it was built 10 years later.
Yeah.
You know
what I just remembered when you said fired and terracotta?
Yeah.
Not to talk about me again, but I did just take my first ceramics class.
Okay.
Or pottery class at the Park District, which I've never taken a Park District course before, but it was so amazing. I don't know if most people know about this, but the Park District releases like every few months a set of courses that you can sign up for. You can take like, woodworking or painting or ceramics or theater or any sport, yoga, whatever, like nutrition. They do all these kinds of, some of them are like $5, some of them are 30. And then this one that I took is like 130, which it's 10 weeks.
Not
and
bad.
Then each lesson is 3 hours.
Not bad.
So it's like 30 hours for like $130 is crazy cheap when it comes to pottery. Yeah. So now that when you said fire and terracotta, I was like, I did take my class. That's one good thing that happened this week.
Look at you out here. You about to be like a non illegal Martha Stewart.
A non-illegal.
wasn't she like doing something illegal? Money laundering, fraud, or some shit?
Maybe.
All I know is her and Snoop Dogg is friends now. That became.
Didn't she went to jail?
She went to jail. She did time.
Yeah.
Snoop ain't even did time. That's crazy. No.
Oh.
That's wild. At least I don't think so. I mean, he been in jail. Anyway, no, but so yeah, that was pretty significant to make it fireproof. Now, here's what I'll say. One of the few buildings. Also, another really, really fun thing about this building is that it is one of the few remaining buildings that had all these type of requirements with the terracotta, the skeleton steel frame, and then the fireproofing. One of the OGs. The other two are I believe it's the Marquette building and then the Fisher building, which are also very, very, very historic Chicago buildings, all landmarks. They look beautiful. They're gorgeous buildings, right?
Absolutely gorgeous.
But now here's why this is really cool. And this is something else. One more thing about the building. If you look at the building, you can actually see on the side where they actually two things. The name of the original building, the New York Life building.
Yeah. That was really surprising to me. I didn't think that the name was still up there, but I literally I literally looked up at the front. That's not LaSalle. What is
no,
that
was
street?
the Monroe Street.
Monroe Street.
Side, yep.
Yeah, and you could see like ORK, and then you could see ING.
Yep.
And I think like an E in the middle or something like that. Like you could see that it
says
clearly New York Life building
Yep.
or something like that, which is so cool to see. I wonder when that was taken down.
I don't know, but like it's very rare to see that it's that old and they didn't clear it off that good.
Fully.
Like you can still see the ghost remnants of that building.
Yeah.
But something else that you can see on the Monroe side of the building is the seam where they added the second
half of the building.
Yes,
yeah.
which is really, really crazy
cool.
To see like that. You know what I mean?
And if you want to see those and like you don't want to go to the building, go to our Instagram this week and we'll be posting those. Today is Monday. I'll probably be posting on Monday in our stories for you to see them, and they'll be in our highlights.
Yeah.
Also, just a heads up, all of the episodes that have been posted recently, like over the last few months, all have highlights where like I will add more information and some pictures that we talked about during the episode, so you can go back and check those out every time. Yeah. So that's always there for you.
Pretty dope. Just a couple more things. The building was landmarked in 2006 because, believe it or not, it was on the most endangered list as of 2002.
That's crazy.
And that was my graduation year. It was on the most endangered list building here in Chicago. And so preservationists wanted to save it. Luckily they did. They made a very good case for preserving Chicago history, because in that alley, something that we learned is that financial district is obviously it's very historic, right? We know it's financial district, but that was considered the first school of Chicago architecture. And think school as in a cluster of fish, right? You know, you call a cluster fish, a school of fish. So there are all these historic buildings down there at one point that had so much significance to it, and where
early Chicago architecture.
Absolutely, and people learned and studied, and that's where the buildings went primarily. And so that area is considered the first school of Chicago architecture.
Yeah,
something else.
I mean, unfortunately, like the first skyscraper is no longer there, but still, like in that space is another really cool building. There's across the street from the New York Life building is the First National
Northern Trust.
First National Northern Trust, which is another really cool building.
Yes,
it just looks beautiful. It's like a deep red. It just looks really incredible. Like the detail in the architecture. I always say, I've said this like a billion times. I like to look at the like motifs in the window decorations and like the windowsills, and it's like someone thought this was a beautiful piece of art. I want to put it on there. I want to do that, yeah. And I'm sure it has a meaning, you know what I mean? And so, like, I'm always like, this is so impressive that, like, again, I said this in one of our hot takes. I was like, I don't like buildings that are glass. And only because I feel like you miss out. Like, obviously, there's beautiful buildings, like the Aqua building and stuff like that, where it's just beautiful to look at. But I miss those like stone details that you see in the old buildings and the old architecture that like it's almost like the artist's signature. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I just feel like Chicago has a lot of those, and that street has a ton.
Yes.
And I always like to look up. This podcast, if it taught me anything, it's taught me to look up and look for those little motifs and signs and plaques and stuff like that.
Well, it's funny you say look, because yes, that is one major thing we have been taught now when we move around Chicago. And if you look on the corner of LaSalle and Monroe, on the southeast corner of the Northern Trust building, there's what's called the number 1 city datum. And if you don't know what that is, we had no clue.
I had no idea. It took me, I had to read it a few times.
Several times. We had to read that a bunch and then Google it and be like, what does this mean? And like to get some context. Because we thought we understood it and we were right, but it was like, this can't be it.
Yeah.
So what it is, a city datum is points, and there's 9 of them total in Chicago around that area, that actually measure are points where the city is officially measured in height, elevation.
Yeah,
unreal. And we were just so happy to be standing right by the first one,
which is it's a really cool idea, because like when they're the surveyors and architects and engineers will use that as like the standard of measurement is the way I understood it. Please go ahead and like deep dive into that and learn more about that, because that's a cool little thing that I did not know that was standardized.
And the crazy part about it is literally the brick. Like they measure,
correct. Like, it's that piece of brick.
That piece of brick right there is the one that they use to measure, and I guess it's like perfectly lined up with.
I don't know what it's lined up with, but
I don't know.
Really cool.
Yeah.
It was a random fact. We did not know that when we were prepping for the episode. Yeah. So when we went there, we weren't looking for it. Yeah. We just randomly saw it. Yeah. Across the street from.
And there's 9 of them total, 8 more from that location.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Walkable.
Yeah. Walking distance.
So you can go find all of them, all 9 of them.
Pretty dope.
But yeah, it was really cool. Yeah. So if you haven't been to that street, go there. I think go and spend some time just like looking around at the buildings. I mean, isn't the Central Standard building just like right around the corner?
Literally like a block and a half, 2 blocks.
The stock exchange is right there, and there's the statues in front of it that we've talked about.
The border trade.
Trade. Yep. I'm sorry. And there's my like
Use
the
Money
pain from
Museum.
pain from my ankle is
Shut your whole
yeah,
system.
my whole system is shut down.
Yeah.
There's 2 statues that we have talked about in an Instagram post before, which are really cool, that are right there.
Crazy.
And I believe they're in the episode with the Central Standard Building.
Yep.
They might be. There's just, I mean, Batman was like filmed right there. So it's a really cool area to go check out if you haven't yet. I know.
It's Wayne Tower, actually.
Yeah.
Wayne Tower is that. And then, the Ferris Bueller's Day Off had a scene up in there. Yeah. What is it? The Rookery Building is where Home Alone 2, the toy store. The toy store. That was just the entrance. Just the entrance. Because
it wasn't filmed.
That part wasn't filmed here. And but that's crazy.
Yeah.
So a lot of history down there. And man, the first measurement point of Chicago is right there. Unreal.
Really cool. If you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and send it to someone you love. It is the best way to support us, is to share our content. We work really hard. We want more people to hear it, and we always appreciate you for sharing our stuff. If you are listening to this on Monday, come out to the Ramova Theater on Thursday. We will be calling bingo, and we'd love to see you there at 8 p.m. at the Ramova Theater in Bridgeport. Otherwise, we will see you next week on Monday or at a rerun on Thursday. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope you loved it.
And if you could, please follow us on social media at 77 Flavors Shy on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter.
If you have any ideas or deep dives that you'd love us to do, please contact us at media@77flavorsshy. That's the number 77 flavors and shy for Chicago.com.
If you like visuals, please subscribe and follow and watch us on our YouTube channel at the same thing, 77 Flavors Shy. Or search 77 Flavors of Chicago.
If you would like to support us monetarily, go ahead and click that Buzzsprout link in the description of this episode.
And as always, we gonna see you next week. Peace.